Hi friends, I am Stravani. I am preparing for the UPSC to the 2025 exam and preferring first the subject of Indian economy subject, and in the most important part is one of the important part I want to cover today is inflation and the business cycle in the book Indian Economy Ramesh Singh book. Okay, I hope it is very good. So inflation and business cycle. Inflation and business cycle. What are the concepts here? Is effects of the inflation. Inflation in India. Wholesale price index, consumer price index, producer price index, housing price index, service price index. Okay, now. Okay, and definition and its inflation, why it occurs, and types of inflation, other variants of inflation, other important terms, inflation targeting and base effect. First of all, First of all, the inflation is rise in the general level of prices, sustained rise in the general level of prices, persistent increase in the general level of prices, increase in the general level of prices in an economy that is sustained over time, rising prices across the board is inflation. These are most important common economic definitions. If the price of one good has been gone up, it is not inflation. It is inflation only if the prices of most goods have gone up. So this is a definition of the inflation. And so here the two terms here is, we will see here two words, disinflation and deflation. We want to express this one here, but these terms have very specific meanings in the terms of price fall. Okay, disinflation is considered good for the economy. It brings comfort to the consumers. Deflation is not considered good. It invites a risk of the slowdown and even recession in the economy. In practice, the same term, inflation, is used by the experts to show price rise or price fall. Rate of inflation is measured on the basis of the price indices. Two price indices are there. So, wholesale price index and consumer price index, WPI and consumer PI. Price index is a measure of average level of prices, which means all that it does not show the exact price of rise or fall of the single good. Rate of inflation is a rate of change of general level, which is measured as follows. Rate of inflation year X is equals to price level year X minus price level year X minus 1 by price level year X minus 1 into 100. So it shows in the percentage form, right? Though inflation is shown in the numbers or digits, price index is weighted average of prices of number of goods and services. In the index, total weight is taken as 100, particular year of the past. Base year, this compared to the current year shows a rise or fall of the prices of the current year. This is a rise or fall in the 100 in comparison to the base year, and the inflation is measured in the digits. So inflation is measured point to point. It means the referred dates for the annual inflation is January 1st to January 1st of the two consecutive years, not January 1 to December 31st. Okay. Weekly rate of inflation is shown in 1 week, reference being the two consecutive last days of the week, that is 5 p.m. of the two Fridays in the India. That's all. And the next topic is, why does inflation occurs? Because of the two inflation, that is demand pull inflation and cost push inflation in the pre 1970 and post 1970. Okay, so economists have been giving different explanations throughout the 19th and 20th centuries for the occurrence of inflation. So these are the reasons responsible for the inflation, that is demand pull inflation and cost push inflation. A mismatch between the demand and supply pull up prices. Either the demand increases over the same level of supply, or supply decreases with the same level of demand. Situation of the demand pull inflation arise. Keynesian Keynesian school suggests cut in the spending as a way of tackling excess demand, mainly by increasing tax and reducing government expenditure. Okay, now and way of tackling excess demand mainly by increasing taxes and reducing government expenditure. In practice, government keep tracking the demand supply matrix to check inflation. Depending upon the situation, goods in short supply are imported and interest on loans increased and wages revised. So cost push inflation. Demand pull inflation is it's a mismatch between the demand and supply prices pulls up prices. Either demand increases over the same level of supply, or supply decreases with the same level of demand. Situation of a demand pull inflation arises. This is a Keynesian idea. Okay now. And as a way of tackling excess demand mainly by increasing taxes and reducing government expenditure. In practice, government is keeping tracking the demand supply matrix to check such inflation. Depending upon the situation, the goods in short supply are imported and interest on the loans increased and wages revised. Cost push inflation. Increase in the factor input cost. Wages and raw materials push up prices. Price rise, which is a result of the increase in the production cost, is called cost push inflation. Keynesian school suggested controls on the prices and incomes on direct ways of checking inflation, and moral suasions and measures to reduce the monopoly power of the trade unions as indirect measures. Cost push inflation chiefly used to happen due to the higher wage demanded by the trade unions during the era. Today, government of the world use many tools to check inflations, reducing the excise and custom duties on raw materials and wage revisions, etc. So, government of the world use many tools. What are the tools? That is reducing the excise and custom duties on raw materials and wage revisions, etc. That is the demand pull inflation. So pre 1970s and post 1970, after the rise of monetaristic school of economics in the early 1970s, monetarism developed in the opposition of post 1945 Keynesian idea of demand management. So here the school provided the monetarist explanation of the inflation is called demand pull or the cost push, which is excess creation of money in the economy. According to for the monetarist, demand pull inflation is creation of the extra purchasing power to the consumer over the same level of production, which happens due to the wage revisions at the micro level and deficit financing at the macro level. This is a typical case of creating extra money either by printing or public borrowing without equivalent creation in the production, supply, etc. The too much money chasing too little output, the ultimate source of demand pull inflation. Cost push inflation. Similarly, for the monetarist, cost push is not only truly independent theory of inflation, it has to be financed by extra money which is created by the government via wage revision, public borrowing, printing of currency, etc. Not truly independent theory of inflation, it has to be financed by extra some money which is created by government either by public borrowing, wage revision, public borrowing, printing of currency, etc. A price does not get automatically reciprocated by consumers purchasing. Basically, people must have got some extra purchasing power created so that why they start purchasing at higher prices also. For this, it has not been the reason people could have cut down their consumption overall demand to the level of their purchasing capacity, and the aggregate demand of the goods have been gone up. But this does not happen. It means every cost push inflation is a result of excessive creation of money, increasing money flow or money supply. For the monetarist, particular level of money supply for the particular level of production is healthy for the economy. Extra creation one minute. Extra creation of money over the same level of production causes inflation. They suggest proper monetary policy. money supply, interest rates, printing of currency, public borrowing, etc. To check situations of the inflationary pressure on the economy, monetarists register the Keynesian theory of inflation. So, measures to check inflation: measures, demand side measure, um, supply side measure, and cost side measure. ఆ తర్వాత types of inflation: low inflation and galloping inflation and hyperinflation and other variants of inflation. That's all.